Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Ule Tea Leaf Readings. This is Lenor speaking, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. But first, we start the reading with the energy of the Hierophant, or the High Priest. This is an energy of devotion. That's the big thing. Devotion. Devotion, devotion. This is a energy, a person, an archetype, a personality of someone who really devotes themselves, marries themselves to their belief systems, to their virtues, to their, desires, their, the things that pull them deeper and deeper into. It could be religion, spirituality, philosophy, the arts, the sciences, whatever it is, pop culture, if that is your religion, which it is for a lot of people. And that's all right. I'm a postmodern baby. I like it. So this tells me that you're pretty serious. You're pretty serious. You're pretty devoted. You have a clear vision of what you want, and you know what you need to do. And so you are dwelling in that. Now we're going to turn this thing, and I want to say thank you so much for clicking on this reading. The date today is October 3rd, 2025, and tomorrow this will be coming out, so that will be October 4th, 2025. These readings are timeless. They're activated when you see the reading, when you watch the reading. And I want to give the dates just so you know when they're being recorded. So if you watch this, the day it comes out or 6 months from now, I want you to have some context of what was going on when this was recorded. All right. So we have a person right here you can see with a cat next to them. You can see here would be the head, the upper body, torso, the lower body, and here's the cat. The head, the upper body, the lower body, the tail. Now we have what looks like a llama right here. It kind of looks like llama, red pajama. We have people dancing up in here. 2 people here, 2 people here. You can see the heads. They're facing each other. They're hugging. There seems to be a time of reconnection. And we have people over here who are clapping. An audience. Head, head, head. And these are the arms. And they're kind of, it looks like watching as these people dance. And it looks like we have the sword right there. And here we have a sled. So let's go ahead. We're going to kind of look at this all together. This also looks like it's maybe MTI. Or maybe it's TMTI. TMTI? I don't know. So the person with the cat, okay, I feel that you have somebody in your life who is very skittish, maybe like very independent. You never hear from them, like when they need something, or they disappear for a few weeks and they're alive because they're online, but you don't talk to them necessarily directly. But I feel like this is somebody who shows up for you, right? Like even if there are periods of time where you don't speak and there is kind of that misalignment as far as time and schedule goes, this is somebody who, no matter what's going on, if you call them, they're going to show up. Okay. Now, it feels to me like we have maybe almost this kind of performative harmony, pretending that things are better than they are, or putting on a brave face, or getting along in front of the kids, or not letting the neighbors see you fighting, that kind of feeling where it's not like a huge put on, where it's like, you're a whole different person. But I feel there has been a sense of pressure to really make things seem better than they are. That's all I can say. Like, it really just, and I feel like this pressure to do so is something that's eating away at you, because nobody hates being inauthentic more than a Gemini, right? Because you are so many different things, right? You're not afraid to dwell in the different aspects of self. Not at all. But when you get into a situation where you feel pressured to maybe like even just keep your mouth shut, omit things. God forbid ask a Gemini to lie. I would never. Or, just that you have to, put it on, put it on a little bit. I feel like you're okay with that for a minute. But if it's something that's like ongoing, you're just like not there for it. But it feels to me like there has to be something that is going on where you have felt you needed to keep the appearances up, but now it feels like something shifted and you just don't care. I mean, you care, of course, but you're not going to hold this illusion any longer. Okay. And this feels like you could see the head thrown back and the mouth open of the llama. It feels like, as a child would, you're just going to say it as it is. Right. And that is something I love about being around kids, is it's very refreshing to see interactions where people are just being honest. They don't have like all of the experience to know like what they're saying maybe needs to be toned down a little bit, or maybe we don't say that to people, or whatever. You don't ask those kind of questions. But when kids are like by themselves playing or whatever, the conversations they have are so honest and open, and so I feel like for you, this is like a return to that place within yourself where, yeah, you feel comfortable just saying it like it is, being who you are, and not having to change yourself for somebody else. And I feel, like there's a sense of, there must be some, like, I don't know, like where you have a public facing job possibly, or your family's just like really like oversteps and they get too involved. But there just seems to be like a sense of like you have to make it seem okay, because you don't want to deal with all of the other stuff, the other people's opinions and people getting involved and that kind of thing. But now, I don't know. I want to see. And actually, with that sled, I'll look here. We have the sled, and then it looks like, when we turn it this way, right? We have right here, it looks like a person who is sitting on a horse or a dog or some kind of animal. And so those two symbols together, it tells me that there is a sense of being ready to move, being ready to move on, being ready to go forward, being ready for this part to be over, okay? You're not going to stick around in it anymore, you know? And with that sword, I know that you've been formulating a plan, right? Like, you already know what you're going to be doing. You already know how you're going to do it, what the process is probably going to look like, or at least, to some degree. And I feel like there is this, of course there's like the pain of getting out of what you already know, right? Like, you've been living a certain way and dealing with things in a certain way for so long that it's just easier, because it's like they say, the devil right? Rather than, the unknown. And I just think that you are just not willing to dwell in that anymore. So there is a change, and it is intentional. And I want to turn this. I want to see if it's going to. We have the horse again. Here, the horse and a person on it. Here, the horse and a person on it. Now we have a person over here who is holding a lantern. And we have somebody in your life that plays maybe guitar, maybe bass. And I feel like there's something around them where there's maybe a health issue. And I think that in this next period of time, it's going to be easier to kind of refocus yourself, because they think you will be helping take care of somebody. And it does seem like they maybe are having some health issues. Now I do feel like this is somebody who's either musically inclined or they're like a really big music fan. Okay. But there is also, with that hermit we have, there is a sense of getting in a mindset where you are not going about it by yourself, but you are putting all of your trust into you, into your decision making, into your abilities. I feel like whatever happened before all this change, it really let you down deeply. And I think that's the thing. It's not about like what it was exactly, more so that like now you feel like you can't trust the people around you to do what you need them to do, or do what they say they're going to do. Okay, so the trust is broken. And that's why it's easier for you to do this movement, to kind of go into self. And we have repeating capital A. And I want to do some oracle cards here in a minute. We also have the number 81 over here. But I almost kind of feel there's this sense of like, maybe it is being with somebody who has, like a public persona or presence. Maybe you have like the public persona or presence. Maybe both of you do. But I feel like there's always this sense of like people watching you, and they are influenced by the way that you conduct yourself. And like if you get into something new, you start to notice that other people around you, like low-key, are getting into similar things. And you have an energy that people are drawn to, but there's also a sense of like being kind of intimidated by you as well. And I feel like in this time where you are kind of letting go of this need or this like thing that we all kind of have it, right? Like, if you grew up being told that you have to put makeup on to go out, like, that's going to condition you in some way to, like, always be like, well, I got to get ready to look good to go out, or, at least need to put a little bit of something on my face. And obviously you don't. That's a choice. There's, like, no law or rule, for it. But what I feel is that you are really aware of how you perform when people are witnessing you. And it changes us. When we know we're being watched, we behave differently. Everybody does. I don't care if you tell me you don't, I don't believe you. At a, like, quantum and micro level, this is true as well. Right? When something is being observed, it will behave differently. So, I do feel that you are trying to at least relinquish some of that, like, feeling of, I have to present a nice, neat image. Right? And so letting go of that, I think a lot of it has to do with, like, you just have more serious stuff to deal with, number one. Number two, it's just so exhausting. It's just so exhausting. So I feel like you're giving yourself a little bit of a gift here. You're going to be what you're going to be. You're going to hold people accountable where they need to be. You're going to hold yourself accountable where you need to. And, keep growing. Keep evolving and doing better day by day. That's the energy. Now, we also have, let's see, we're going to look at this one. Then we're going to do some oracle cards. Oracle of the Radiant Sun. And thank you for putting up with me. I know I sound terrible. I'm not feeling the best. Number 37. Now we have a cup, and we have, it looks like noodles and chopsticks or something. I feel what this speaks to me as a meal that warms you from the inside out. So to me, this is all about finding that comfort. Okay, lean into the things that make you feel like you are being recharged. Versus your energies, your vitality being sucked away, right? Zapped away. And though I know that you are, probably somebody who practices stuff like psychic self-defense, right? Or, something along those lines. If you don't, or if you are interested in doing some research about it, go and look up Dion Fortune. She has a book that is wonderful about these things, especially, a lot of times you'll read about psychic self-defense, and it'll talk a lot about places like the astral when you're out of body, and or remote viewing, or whatever. It doesn't just pertain to when we are in the interior, or when we are in varied dimensions or realms, or whatever you want to call them. It is applicable to our daily life, because you better believe it. There are all kinds of things that attach to us, that see our light, that feel our energy, and will definitely latch itself on. Now, this can be human beings, this can be spirits, it can be demons. I'm sorry, not demons, demons. Whatever you call them, whatever they, whatever you perceive them to be. We have to be careful. So, doing some kind of cleansing, if you use sigils or talisman, maybe a good time to reestablish or recharge that protective barrier, and just to be aware, even just on a very like low-key level, how does this make me feel, right? So if, like, for instance, you're getting invited to something, or you do get invited and you end up going, and you walk into the room and you immediately feel like, I don't want to be here and I don't feel comfortable here, it is a time in your life where you should really be following and heeding those intuitions. Okay. Like, as a treat, give yourself permission to leave if you don't feel like you should be there. You know, we should always be operating in this, if it feels off, we take heed. Unfortunately, we live in a world where oftentimes we have to override those instincts and just force ourselves to be where we don't want to be. And I hope that, we can collectively figure out how to maybe change that, or at least a little bit, right? So I do feel like you are listening to yourself, and when you feel like something is off, you're not going to endure it, and I think that's going to make all the difference here, really. So filling yourself up, making sure you're checking in with yourself. How does this make me feel? Is this the right decision for me? Is this where I want to be? All that kind of thing. Okay, now we're going to just start here. See what's going on for the next week here. So adaptability. We're in a place where we need to be adaptable, enterprise. So focusing on work, making money, building your career, your position in your company. Maybe you are starting a company, maybe you already have one, but the mind is definitely pulled towards that work material sphere. Okay. Now we have extremism. So maybe in the workplace there are some things going on or being said that make you feel maybe kind of fiery. Maybe you feel like you need to say something. Maybe you don't like the views of others that you are around. So we're gonna see what. Okay, so power. What's gonna happen with that? Power, choice. Okay, so I do feel like there's a sense of maybe the people in power that are around you, at least perceived position of power. Their views don't align with yours, and maybe the culture of your work doesn't necessarily resemble your own personal stances, and maybe that makes you kind of uncomfortable. Maybe usually it's not that big of a deal to you, and you're pretty, like we said, adaptable here. But I feel like recently there has been maybe displays of belief or alliances to institutes or movements or whatever that have kind of, made the environment uncomfortable. I don't know. Maybe that's the word, uncomfortable. So you have a choice to make. And the last one we pull is loss. Okay. So I do feel like, how did this move? I gotta get this thing out of the shot here. There we go. I do feel like, you're going to have to make a choice here. Like, are you willing to lose your position because you don't agree with, the sentiments of others? Which, listen, that makes sense. If it's like really something that is just, you can't live in that environment, then absolutely. But the other part of it is, and I maybe am just an old fogey for this, but I really believe we've come into this place in the world where there's really no tolerance. It's not even about tolerance, about like what other people believe. Like, you don't have to, agree with somebody or even like, respect them, and their opinion. But the idea that we need to always know what people believe or police what they believe, or we have to agree with them, is wild to me. I guess because I don't really agree with most people about anything. And honestly, I don't care what people think about most things at all. But what I do like is that people will expose themselves, right? I do want people to be able to be themselves. I do want people to tell me their opinions or express their opinions if I agree or not, because it tells me a lot about the person, right? And I much rather know about a person that I have to be around than have no idea where they're coming from, or what they might be skewed towards. So that's my own personal thing. And the other thing is I grew up in a environment and a lifetime where you didn't talk about money. Absolutely. You never ask people about, like, how much money they make or, anything like that. I still feel that way about money. I don't know why, but I do. You don't talk about religion or politics. Now, I can talk about religion all day long. That's one of my favorite things. But politics, I don't know. Yeah, I want to hear about it, but it's hard. It's hard to be in a world now where, we're just unwilling to find a way. You know what I mean? And it's not that I agree with any of the sides. I'm not taking up with anybody, and I'm not a centrist either. I don't know how we as a people, a collective species, go forward if we are finding more and more reasons to not tolerate one another. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I don't know why I was even going on and on about that, but yes, deciding are you going to stay where you're working or not? Now, I don't know. So for me, I am always uncomfortable wherever I'm at. Any job I've ever had, any work I've ever done, I'm never comfortable. And I almost never like the people. Not that I dislike them, but I don't want to be around them. I don't want to talk to them, not because I'm better or snobby or anything. I just don't want to interact with people usually. And yet you have to. I mean, that's life, right? Yeah, we have to make resources. We have to, to some degree be social beings. And so it is really something to consider, either way, it does. In the last card we had, it has that feeling of loss because maybe you feel like you are losing your peace by staying in a situation like that, but you're making good money and you're doing well, and so you have to put up with it, or losing a job that, is otherwise pretty decent because of the culture of it, and that's also a really bad feeling. So, it's not necessarily the best choice, to have to make, but, I want you to know I love you and I support whatever you do or don't do, and that's kind of how it comes down to things, right? Sometimes we just have to. We have two tough roads either way, right? Okay, here we go. We're going to do 3 lucky numbers. Number 9. Number 41. 9, 41, and 17. All right. Okay, Gemini, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do. And I thank you so much for being here with me today. It's always such a pleasure. I enjoy doing these readings greatly. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you, especially if you have like a prayer request. You can put that in the comments. Other than that, again, I want to tell you I love you. We're going to talk soon. Good night.